You're doing your morning rounds. Is this your morning exercise?
Yeah.
Do you get much sleep?
Oh, I sleep okay, yeah. No trouble sleeping. That's so good. I haven't so much down here, but on the whole, I average, I suppose, I'd wake at the least every 2 hours.
Yeah, I might.
Hour and a half. The mouth dry as a shit slip.
Yeah, because both you and Mum sleep like this.
Yeah. That's a queer part because I have no trouble breathing through my nose when I'm going off to sleep, and as soon as I go to sleep, I must breathe through my mouth.
I think
geez, I tell you, that wakes me up even, the pain. My mouth is so dry, it's painful.
Yeah, I've done that.
No spit, you can't get any spit or anything. You've got to wash your mouth out and then it's all right. Yeah, it's a bugger.
Yeah, I've done that. Like, I've woken up and I've had a sore throat, and it would be without doubt a sore throat from snoring, because that would be the only thing that would have caused that.
Right.
And I always thought that snoring is for fat people, but you can be skinny and snore too, such as Mum.
Yeah. They maintain that the deepest part of your sleep is around 4 in the morning, and you are very close to being dead. Yep.
Suspended
your intake
animation.
of oxygen is so small, your heartbeat slows, you're completely relaxed.
Yeah, you're in deep sleep, so you're
deep sleep.
You're further than
dead.
Yeah, it's you're deeper than REM, rapid eye movement, because that's where you're still getting flash messages and you can dream.
Yeah.
And you know it too, don't you? You know if you've haven't gone into that deep sleep, because you really feel like you haven't actually slept well. But they reckon that I had training and that stuff for fatigue, and they're saying that you need all parts of that sleep. You need your REM, you need your light sleep, and you need your deep sleep. That they're all actually quite important. And that's the reason why people who take sleeping pills and that and go into these deep sleeps suffer problems, because they're not having as much REM.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's a terrible thing when people have to take sleeping pills. I've never had to do that, thank God. But
yeah.
The Irene, she's done that for God knows how many years.
Well, even
every night, and sleeps all night in a drug-induced state.
Well, the stuff that they give Chris at the moment for her anxiety interferes with her sleep. It's because she struggles to sleep, and she's got into that whole routine of can't sleep at night, but when the morning comes, can sleep during the day.
She's been like that for many years now, hasn't she? Eh? Terrible.
And it's a routine that people get into, particularly if you don't have a reason to get up, like work-wise. It is easy to slowly slip into a routine of staying up a bit later when you've got TV and stuff.
You almost revert to a bloody nocturnal animal.
You do.
You're like a possum.
Yep.
Daylight hours, you sleep. You can relax and sleep and sleep. Night time, you're on the prowl. The old mind is bloody active.
Well, when I
that's a bugger.
When I was working in just general patrols for policing, the problem families and that, they were all problem families at around midnight to 2 o'clock. They're always up. But you drive around those locations early in the morning,
not a movement.
Not a movement.
No.
You know,
No.
you see them start coming out around midday onwards, and you know, because they've walked out the front yard and their hair's all messy and they haven't even groomed themselves, and you know, it's like watching zombies get out of bed. You know. Yes.
I don't know, it must be for the last bloody near 10 years that we were stopping with Chris, and she was like that all the time.
And I see she wouldn't have been
Up
when
through
she.
the night, there's a light under her door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bad sleeper myself. I
10
wake up.
o'clock. See, before she'd wake in the morning, most times,
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Yep.
And then she was absolutely ratchet.
Oh. Do you know the only thing that makes me get up, only thing that stops me from sleeping in like that is the moment I wake and it's early morning. I want to be awake because I don't want to miss that best time of day.
Yeah.
And it drives me out of bed.
Yeah.
You know, even small.
Which is good.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good thing.
It is good. Yeah. I've always loved the early morning.
I roll out of bed and I knock on Jason's door and say, "Come on, let's go get a coffee." You know, and all it is I just want to I want to have a coffee, but I just want to have a drive, early morning drive, and just look at things. You know. And then I don't mind going back to bed at midday.
No, that's right.
When Jason and I go to Sydney, we'll take like a 6 o'clock flight, which means we're up at 4 o'clock. And we'll get to Sydney, we'll have breakfast, we'll walk around the beautiful morning, and then we would eventually make our way back to the room at around midday, and we would have our iPads on watching a movie, and we'd be sleeping within 10 minutes. And then we'd be awake at about 3 o'clock, and we'd sort of like, in various stages, get up. And then at 4 o'clock, we're back out the door again, and for the rest of the dusk, we're just walking and looking at, you know, beautiful afternoon with sunlight drifting through the trees. Routine. Whereas Putty here, I don't know, I think Putty just sleeps all the time.
Yeah, absolute contentment, isn't it?
Yeah.
No mind, of course, to give her awful thoughts and stuff, like bloody human being.
Oh, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Stress is another thing that keeps you up at night. Stress and despair and that sort of stuff.
There's plenty of human beings like that too, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Got no bloody minds at all.
Yeah, well, that's one next door, isn't there? Yeah. Well, Dad, the next time you come down, the backyard will be completed. There'll be a cubby house there in next to the palm tree with a sand pit and a little chook pen at the back of it.
What, here?
Yeah, I'll put the cubby house just behind the palm tree there. And I'll run like a concave sand pit to the rocks, and that'll be where Ivy can play in the sand. And then behind it will be just mesh, so you'll have the back wall will be joining to a hard mesh chook run, so the chooks can come out and poop everywhere. Ivy can go in.
Your sand pit.
Yeah, I need a cover for it.
A cover.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it'll be for every cat and every dog in the street.
Because wherever it's easier to dig, they'll dig and poop in it.
Yep. There'll be little kinder surprises for Ivy to find. Oh, look, Daddy.
Poopy.
What's that? Oh, I think that's cat poo.
No, it's all very nice, sand pits, but they're not if they're not looked after and bloody covered.
Yeah.
They're a bloody dirty place for kids.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any health harm though. There plenty of kids playing sand pits and stuff, got cat poop everywhere, and they never didn't give them any bother.
I do suspect that those sand pits, at schools and that, pretty much get pooped in by all the local cats that meet there at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she loves the sand, and unfortunately, as you can see, putting the sand down there was a little bit of a failed experiment because it's gone everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll have to back blow it and.
Yeah. Blow it back.
I'll have to find a paver, Dad. We had all these pavers. People came out to quote for the paving, and eventually, say, 4 came out to quote.
What paving?
Paving the driveway and upside the house.
Oh, yeah.
Extending it to the fence. Reseeding the pavers over there where they've been pushed up by the old fig tree. Putting the pavers down there, and reseeding the pavers in the pool yard. And one guy...
A lot of money.
Yeah, well, one guy quoted 2,400.
2,400?
Yeah, 2,400. He just never turned up, never even made a phone call. Like, he took it. He was ringing me all the time saying, oh, yeah, I've got the job. Gave him the job, never turned up.
I was going to say, bloody 2,400 was bloody good price.
It was a very cheap price.
Yeah.
And, it might have been 2,500. And so...
Are you aware of the fact that it's got to be laid on a firm base?
Yeah. So it had to, on the driveway, a concrete slurry and extra strength for the driveway. And on the, everywhere else, concrete sprinkled into the crusher dust and that. But, he just never turned up. 2 days later, I rung up and said, oh, yeah, just wondering what time you're going to kick off. He goes, I can't do it. And I said, I got to have surgery on Thursday for a what do you call it when you get something caught in your guts? Hernia.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, you don't get a hernia and an operation within a couple of days. That doesn't not in the public system. This doesn't happen. So that was just a big Furby.
Yeah.
And couldn't be bothered ringing me. So angry with him.
Yeah.
And then the next guy...
He's realised he's made a bit of a mistake. So
I think that's what it is. Yep. And it's got...
It have to be worth more than that.
And then the other guy quoted $3,000, but that did not include paving that bit down there. And he was going to turn up on the 15th. I never heard from him. Never. And I'm not... And so one bloke came and quoted, never got a quote from him. He went, he measured up in that, but then he must have think, you know what, couldn't be bothered. Another bloke came and quoted, never heard back from him. It's like, what they want, Dad, is a nice flat piece of ground, and so they can pave it and charge you $5,000. Yeah.
Straightforward going.
Yeah, and they'll charge you $5,000, and they get it whipped up in a day and a half.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yep, big handful of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. No pride in their bloody work. Anything away from the normal, they don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, a bit of effort.
Where they've got to use a little bit of brains, a little bit of
a little bit of elbow grease too.
Yeah, and a bit of hard work.
Well, you remember when we did the granny flat all those years ago, and we had to do the drainage. I was lucky to get that copper to come down and do the drainage, and at the end of the day, we did the drainage, didn't we? We got we're the ones that I got the digger in that dug the trench, and then the rest of it was by hand by us.
Yeah.
But none of the other. As soon as you mention drainage to a plumber, it's like boop, boop.
That's right.
They want to come and hook up a toilet and charge you $1,000. That's what they want to do. Which I don't blame. It's just frustrating, It's just that. They would never have lasted a minute in your day, Dave, where you had to get a crowbar to dig out holes and put stumps off the houses and use manual drills.
Yeah. But I loved every minute of the work that I did. That was a big thing. And I just had unlimited bloody energy and vitality. Never ever. I couldn't understand why these blokes could get tired during the day and even when Steve...
Was that
no,
tradies?
I was 52 when Steve was working with me. And at lunchtime he'd be nearly buggered some days. He'd put his head back.
Well, I remember you saying that Steve was pretty all right, though.
I just think, shit, a bloody prick.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, when I retired, a year after I retired, and I was 66, well, just before my birthday. And you remember Mussy that was...
Yeah, he passed away, didn't he?
No. Oh, shit, no.
I thought he was, didn't he get cancer or
John
something?
Duggan told me that once too, that he... No, Mussy did large his bloody life, but I haven't seen him for a few years, but...
How old's he?
Oh, I don't know what Mussy would be. He'd have to be in his late 60s now, I imagine. Yeah. Oh, geez, he was a terrific worker, that bugger. Yeah, but anyway, he come and saw me and he said, would you be interested in having a look at an old Queenslander out at Callapa, around the Black Mountain Way? I said, geez, what's it entail? He said he just wants to know if you'd be able to do it up and bring it back to its original state of a Queensland, you know. And that was bloke Bojack, Richard Bojack. He was a police stock squad. Nice fella too, Richard was. Yeah, and his wife, Amanda, had a couple of young children then. Yeah, and anyway, I went. He picked me up and took me out, and oh shit, it was a bloody real mess. It was really. And he said, "What do you think? Do you think you'd be able to do it?" I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "There's nothing you can't do." And he said, I told him, give him a rough idea what I'd have to do. It was so bloody crooked, and I had to replace nearly all the floor. I think I ended up replacing all the floor joists on the veranda. Had a veranda in the front, down both sides. And he said, well, would you do it? I said, yeah, I'll do it. And he said, well, what's your hourly rate? He said, you can't give me a price. I said, no, I couldn't. And $18 an hour. In the hand, that was good money.
Yeah.
Then, good money.
Yeah. I play my gardener less than that.
He said, well, would you go ahead with it? I said, yeah, sure. And he said, I'm going to tell you now. He said, I had 3 different builders come out here. And he said, they all told me the same thing. No, mate, she's too far. Bulldoze the bugger down and we'll build you a nice new place. He said, I don't want a new place. I want an old Queenslander. Well, fair dinkum, I should have taken photos of it, never ever did. Yeah, but Jesus turned out nice, but I did tremendous amount of work on it.
Yeah.
Every day I'd drive out there in the old bloody ute, the old bloody B1800 Mazda. Yeah, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I was working out there on my 66th birthday, actually.
Hey.
Yeah, and she...
No, so much for retirement,
I said to Amanda when they'd give me smoke and lunch, you know. And I said, it's my birthday today. Oh, heavens, Charles, she said, why are you out here working on your birthday? I said, one day's the same as another day.
Yeah, my birthday don't mean much to me, I think.
No, it's never meant anything to me. It's well, the following day you're a day older, aren't you?
That's it. I must say, Dad.
Something went wrong. I run into her, well, your mother and I. Yeah, we must have come home from Brisbane, this is years back, on the tilt train, and Amanda was on the platform.
Amanda who?
This Amanda Bojack.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The woman, and
yep.
no, we was talking to her. She was a nice person, big, strong woman, and I said, how's Richard going? Where's he? Oh, she said, things aren't any good there. She said he got transferred from Rocky down or somewhere outside of Toowoomba or somewhere, I think, like that.
Yeah.
And she said he sort of went to pieces, whether he had a nervous breakdown or what.
Yeah.
She gave us a full story, and there he went sort of nearly bonkers, and she said he's never got over it. And then he started running around with some other woman, and
That always helps.
and I said, "And what are you doing, Amanda?" She said, I'm driving one of the big trucks up at Moore and Bar or somewhere like that.
Wow, there you go. She's
Yeah.
getting into it.
Oh, she's a strong woman, right? Yeah. Lovely. Well, I only had the two kids when I was working there, and the little girl was the oldest, and she was just like Sophia, you know,
Yeah.
with that beautiful deep
olive
skill,
skin. Yeah.
and stark naked every day, all over the bloody paddock. No, they
Yeah.
probably had a couple of 100 acres there.
Yeah.
Everywhere, always naked, and it's brown. Lovely kid. All smiles, but they had another couple, I believe, after that. But Billy was the boy. He was a much younger little fella.
So it's funny, kids have no sense of self-propriety, or, you know, like...
No, they're completely natural.
Yeah.
Natural. There's no inhibitions at all, like growing up.
Ivy was on the pooper the other day, and Mikola come in, and I think it was Mikola, and was just chatting to her while she's on the toilet doing a poo.
Yeah.
In between their conversations, it's like there was a... just...
Noah hasn't come back yet.
That's about right. Every time he gets borrowed. So he put his got his bed.
Yeah, I just give her a feed.
Hey, Putty. Anyone think he had fleas lying around the grass like that? Geez, everything's looking green right now.
No lizards about yet. Really like that. That tide, the water comes up fairly high in that creek,
Yeah.
at the top of the tide.
It's interesting that you should mention that. We had warnings that over this period of time, New Year's on, is extremely high tides, and that's why it looks like it's up high. Yeah. Oh, that was just funny. Yeah. But, yeah, I must say I'm a bit frustrated that there's not many wide loads going, you know, to up the Rocky.
No.
It was good though.
Well,
Always look forward to getting up to Rocky, you know.
Yeah, it's because there's been a steady downturn in the mining sector, eh?
I've seen it. Yeah.
And yet they're going to build $1 billion bloody new mines, eh? That Indian mob,
Yeah.
Adani or whatever they know it's called. Yeah. And Palmer in cahoots with the bloody Chinese.
I think Palmer's seen his last year in government. He's just getting pummeled.
He's out of his depth there, yeah.
Oh, I think everyone's really realised that his whole political party was just about him and about his getting his way. And
Yep.
yeah, we're not fools. He should have gone a term before introducing an inquiry into the Liberal government and all that, because it just clearly became, you know, his well, if he was doing politics, they weren't walking to his drum and to his beat, and he wanted to make them pay for it.
That's right,
And that's just politics, because they're both as bad as each other,
yeah.
which makes them a good politician.
Dude, when you do happen to watch them in a session of Parliament,
Oh, it's just
talk
embarrassing.
about like a mob of naughty schoolboys.
It's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing.
Like, fancy people with that, well, they've got to be reasonably intelligent,
You'd think
surely.
so.
But to lose control, screaming and shouting and all this sort of thing.
And jeering at each other, and then hopping up and making just ridiculous comments.
Yeah.
You know, taking
Parliamentary privilege, they can
Yeah.
say almost anything to the other person.
and clearly taking things out of context.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, the bottom line is, I think that they know that the Australian public must be a fair amount of dum-dums in it, and therefore they know they play to their audience.
Yeah.
And they think that there are people watching them that will go, yeah, yeah. And all the intelligent people are going, you're embarrassing.
That's
And
right.
I don't agree with that question. That's just ridiculous. That's something my child would bring out.
Yeah.
But,
But you never heard any goings on like that when Joe Bielke-Peterson, like a lot of people didn't like him, whether he's right or wrong. I don't follow politics much, but he never ever lost control of himself. Never heard him shout or scream or
no.
too bloody. Yeah,
But when he said something, he meant it,
yeah.
and he carried it through.
I did one thing he brought in, and I agreed with it too. And your mother didn't, and of course none of the Labor people do. And where he banned the street marches, and I said, well, so he should, because they just take up the whole street, but they're playing into the hands. They themselves, that's okay, but they should go to there should be a big area where they can have that, and the people who want to listen to it go and listen to it. But they just take over whole streets, and
Yeah, the
they
marches
might
are-
have the best of intentions, but the other side, they put a couple of dozen hecklers in there and end up making it look like the people that's organised the street march are the baddies. Yeah. No, I never.
Yeah, they don't.
Why do-
I agree. I don't think they need the march. I think
No.
that there could be a football field somewhere.
That's it.
And
Yeah,
they can
of
say,
course.
righto, here's your permit. Get there and get on your loudspeakers. You know what? Advertise it. Let everyone know that you're there to make a statement.
Yeah.
And let's just see how many people are interested in that statement.
That's
So
right.
that's how many will turn up. But
No, they just. I always reckon they're just playing into the opposition's hands when they do these street marches. End up bloody brawls and everything, and then the very ones that organise it are blamed for it. Yeah,
Yes.
I had the right idea there.
See the fence there, Dad? I was thinking about, the fence there. I was thinking about lifting up the two panels and run them straight all the way through. What do you reckon? You know how I've stepped it down? Over there on the fence panels, I've stepped them down.
I don't.
And I
No,
was just-
I don't really think so. I liked it being stepped myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Probably you're right.
Because
It's,
when you're on sloping ground, that's what you've got to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. So, having it all the same length, that means nothing. It certainly
No.
when the fence went in, it certainly completed it, didn't it? So like gave the feel of the
crikey, yeah.
backyard.
Yep.
Bit
And this too. This around the pool.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
Oh, crikey.
Jason's saying that, he goes, oh no, I really want to keep the glass and that, and I said to him, Jason, within a year, it starts rotting out because water goes on the glass and runs down into the things. You can't stop it from happening.
No, you can't.
And
No.
and so you got all this, and you and I never wipe the glass, so
No.
it's always dirty.
No, that's right.
And I think this is great. It just, it now completes it, doesn't it? You look over there, you look
Yeah.
here, and it looks,
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah.
Yep. I reckon you should have this panel over the other end of the pool.
Yeah.
The entrance.
yes,
to the pool, yep.
we're going to do that.
And
We
the-
ran out
and
of
the
time.
gate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we ran out of time on that one, but we will. It's, that's a double gate there, so we might make it a double gate.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
and that one's not. But as Stephen said, if ever you needed to get from there into the backyard for any reason, you can always take a panel off and, you know, unscrew them and
That's right. Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
you know how many times in your life will you actually need a big piece of machinery down the back? And
Very
you know,
seldom,
3
eh?
times. I said, well,
Yeah.
if it's 3 times, you can unscrew screws 3 times. You know. So
But when Jason ends up getting that plastering finished on the front of the house, I don't know whether he's going to carry it around. I don't think you'd have to. But then painted,
yeah, it'll look good.
oh,
It'll be finished.
then the fence will have to be painted.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
It's a spray job, that is.
Oh yeah. Definitely a spray
Trim
job.
all the vegetation off the top of it.
Yeah. I'm going to get Jerry to. I'm going to buy an edger, hedging machine.
Yeah,
hedger,
yeah, I know what you mean.
And I'm just going to get him to hedge that
Yeah.
just above about a half foot above the fence, and hedge along so it's just about away from the fence a little bit.
Yeah.
Itchy as anything, but that's a job for Jerry. He can do it.
Right.
And just tidy it up. It was the wrong bamboo. The stuff that Jason asked for wasn't this stuff.
No.
He asked
no.
for a Chinese baby bamboo or something,
Oh,
and the bloke brought this stuff over, and it's nowhere near the type of thing that Jason had asked for. But we'll fix that progressively. Over the next year, I'll be digging out that bamboo here and putting the proper one in.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hedging bamboo. It's just thin and it goes up like that and only goes about 2.5 metres. And I'll just run it down along there. Yeah. Well, the council never said anything about us putting the timber
It's
there.
hard to dig it out, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Jerry will get through it.
I think I'd be cutting it off at ground level and painting neat round up on the top of it, and they'd die and rot away, they would.
Yeah, except I've got to put the bamboo back where they are. So I just...
Yeah, but the roundup is... it only lasts a fortnight or so. It's biodegradable.
Yeah.
Won't poison anything after about a fortnight or so. Because they use it in all the bloody agricultural places.
Yeah.
Hundreds of acres of it. And this business of ploughing deep and everything, that's gone by the board. And they just spray that and the weeds die. And a fortnight later, they just run that tiller thing through it and plant.
Yeah, just
plant
chew it
a
up.
fortnight
Yeah.
after. Yep. Yeah.
I did that at Forest Lake. At Forest Lake I hired a grass cutter because I was replacing the grass with proper grass. So I got in the backyard and just cut all the grass and rolled it up, put it in a wheelbarrow, wheeled it down to my lazy brother's house because he wanted to put grass on the front, on his side, on his lawn, and drop the grass off for him there. And then got a bloke that does watering. He came in and dug the things and put sprinklers in, and then dirt went back over, and then the turf went down.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm running a little bit low of funds, but one of my things I'm going to do is probably get a bloke to come out and hook up a sprinkler system for the lawn and the front and back. I could do it. It's just that I don't have enough minutes in the day.
No.
And
Good. Yeah.
Great
thing to have that bloody underground watering system. Pop up sprinklers and
I'd just like to know that once a week I can go boom, and that's going to water it for the right amount of time.
Yep.
And turn itself off.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
maintain a green lawn.
You can set them so as it'll come on, water it once a week.
Yeah, that's
Turns
what I do,
it off. It'll come on again in a week's time.
Yep. I definitely buy a rain meter so that if it has rained recently, it won't turn on.
That's right, yeah.
Although those rain meters, you've got to toss them every so often. So I remember at Forest Lake, after a while, it could be pouring rain and the thing would pop on, you know. So I think they need to be replaced as you go sometimes, you know, as they get old. Yeah, so Jason wants to do the timber like I've done there
Yeah.
along that garden there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just have it flush with the pavers. That won't take too long to do. Leave that side as a garden, and that side as a garden. Here is going to be a bit of a tricky one. I'm thinking I might step it up and make a timber platform just in the corner here. See how it goes. Yeah. I mean, the other option is just putting ground cover down or rocks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a hard one. You're probably looking at about $500-600 worth of products to do it.
You'll notice that almost all of new houses, the slab on ground, or even if they're two-storey, there's still a slab on the ground, and they have a concrete path all the way around the building.
Yep.
And they push that very strongly and rocky. The council can't make it, but they tell everybody that that's the best way to go. And all these structural engineers and that, they say the same thing, because it should be at minimum of 0.9 wide.
Seeing
or
walk
a
on
metre.
it. Yeah.
Mine's a metre wide at home that I did, but it keeps the ground moisture all around your footings at a constant moisture content.
Ah.
It stops it from drying out. If you leave a patch underneath that concrete, the ground is always slightly moist, and in under your house never fully dries out or anything. It's just moisture, and it's a uniform.
Yeah.
But where there's not, and especially people that put garden beds against their houses, that's a no-no.
Yeah, no,
because
termites.
there they are, the hose, pouring water here around these plants, none down there, and that's drying out and the ground's cracking away from the footings. 3 metres down, it's as wet as buggery.
Yeah.
And that's what causes the movement, and footings will break sometimes. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things when the termite people come around, they're saying, don't have these plants up against your house.
Oh shit, no.
You'll never see them get in. They'll come up
No.
and through the weep hole, and you never know.
Yep.
Yes.
Funny, with that termite business, like Steve and Gail's place, it's a full concrete slab, and it's above the ground so high, and then the walls are all precast concrete in Steve's house that he did himself. Oh, a good job. And so long as you've got from the ground, you've only got to have 7.5 centimetres of concrete showing above the ground, and there's no termite treatment whatsoever. Yep. But inside under the house, before you pour the slab, wherever there's any floor penetrations like sewage pipes, then that has to, they put a 10 centimetre, what's bloody 300 square, 300 millimetres, 30 centimetres square piece of that, what do they call that stuff for the termites?
Termi mesh.
Termi mesh.
Yep.
That's got to go a hole cut and slide it down over the pipe, and then and it sticks up the edge of the pipe, and then there's a stainless steel worm drive clamp.
Yep.
Goes on there, it's clamped to the pipe. And that's all you got to do. So the very fact that you've got to do that, they're admitting that there's white ants can be underneath your floor, which of course they are.
They can be anywhere.
But if you're using the poison base, the whole area must be poisoned, not just even when they have that flood irrigation of poison under houses, where it every year they come round,
Yeah.
you've got a point on your brickwork
Yeah.
where they can pump more poison
Yeah.
in. Why shouldn't that poison be pumped just for around those things there? But it's not, you've got to do the whole lot. And this is what happens in some houses. Most houses, your concrete floor, I've never seen a concrete floor yet that hasn't got cracks in it.
Yeah.
But usually they're never any worse than a fine crack in the surface. Most of them don't even go right through the block.
Yeah.
But in place they do. Well, old termite, he just chip away at that. Straight underneath where a partition was sitting, up into there, and this is what has happened. Yeah.
Yeah, tenacious.
But they've been, the Termi-mesh treatment does appear to be pretty bloody good. There's been no, well, I've never heard of, and they advertise this too, the agents do, but there's never been any problem with termites in a house where this Termi-mesh is used. But that too, Ian, is only as good as the applicator that puts that bloody stuff on.
That's right, they need a little tiny hole and it's gone.
Only got to have the tiniest bit, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I must say at the Oxley house, they've got the drill holes for the flood thing for the termites, but you know, at my house...
But that was done afterwards, where they drilled through the concrete.
Yeah, and I can't see how that works. You know, it's probably full of mud now after the 2011 floods.
Yeah, but they can still pump stuff down into that,
Well, the way I look at it, I think it's a Queenslander. They've got to get up through the...
Well, if they're all stump caps, they never had any trouble with white ants in any of them old joints where all the houses we built with the old stump caps on posts and... No, it's good. It's a physical barrier to them, of course, but they do such terrible damage. Even Kim's house, Kim and Neil, when we built that, and it's under the slab, it was all done with the proper poisoning stuff. But Neil never ever, that was they call that part A, and when the house is finished, then you must use part B, and it's poisoned all the way around the outside of your house, so wide. Well, he never got that done, Neil. No, bloody waste of bloody time. But it wasn't a waste of time. Kim was, Kim's like all the time washing the bloody house, real fanatic. And she wiping round the windows in the bathroom, and she run the hand up, and gee, that felt a bit rough, and along the pine on top of the sill in front of the windows. She rubbed it hard, and the bloody fingers went through it. And there they were. Neil got into it, geez, they'd gone all up and around there. He had to strip it all out and replace it. And then he got the termite people out. And of course, by then, he'd put what he should have done was like I did at my place. When I put that boxed up all that path, then I got the bloke out and he just flooded that with all the poison all around the house. Then I laid the concrete. And so they come out and they had to go around, drill bloody holes through that concrete all the way around the bloody house. Cost them over $2,000 then. But it appears that was very successful. But where they got in there was where the plumber, they used the P-trap toilet, so it goes out through the wall. And then down. And then there was another, I think a waste pipe down lower than that, probably from the bath or somewhere, only a 5 centimetre pipe. And it's very hard, you can't cut a neat hole in brickwork, it's a bit rough. So what they do, they spray that bloody expanding foam in there, and it sticks all out, and when it's dry you just shave it off, and you can paint it the colour of the brickwork, and it's quite good. but the bloody white ants just
Got in through.
straight through that stuff. That's where they got in there.
They would have had to build a bit of their trail though up to it, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Up the pea trap,
yeah,
up
well,
behind the pea trap.
They go up the, in the perks of the brickwork.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your dad. That's yours today, Dad.
Yeah,
Up the side of the brick.
when that
Yeah,
one
they go up
was-
the hollows in the brickwork.
Yeah, but they don't seem to. There's heaps of, well, all brick houses. There's nothing. There's never been any. There's nothing straight up the brickwork at the top. It's only tied to your timber wall, your brickwork,
No.
and up the top it just goes up. It's either goes above your overhang ceiling, or you do the ceiling first, and the bricky finishes up against the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's nothing up there at the top. If they went all the way at the top, there's no physical barrier.
Yeah.
But they don't, you see. There's never been any
Yeah, they probably think.
evidence that they travel up brickwork.
Yep.
And yet they get down low, though, apparently.
Yeah. And yet they'll down low and then
They can-
straight into the mix
Yeah.
with timber.
I don't know what it is, whether they've got a tremendous sense of smell, because
And
they're
they
actually blind. The
Yeah.
termites are blind.
I reckon that they just know not to travel over distances of what would be rock to them. But they know not to travel forever over rock because it
Yeah,
exposes
yeah.
them to birds and stuff. So over time, their whole way of doing business is not to travel. So up a brick wall, they don't do it. But they'll go around a brick wall and underneath if they know that right behind it is a bit of timber.
Yeah, yep,
You know?
yeah.
Oh well, fingers crossed we don't get no termites for a while.
No.
Oh. Well, I'm going to pack down the Christmas lights this morning.
Yeah,
Probably mow.
over.
Get onto the computer and see if I can advertise for more paving blokes to come out and have a look.
Yeah.
I think I might have my second coffee. You want a coffee, Dad?
No, I'm going to have a couple of oranges. With me and Mum.
I did a study into people who juice oranges, Dad. They reckon that you got more chance of getting heart disease. There you go.
Oranges.
Eating oranges. So you better watch out.